Now joins us on the line. Tshepo, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to PM News.
Thanks very much, Alicia.
Now, Tshepo, inter-trade relations featured in the minister's lecture. Does this mean there is less trade among the African countries?
Yes, definitely. I think this is a bad picture in a way that you all know that according to projections and evidence that is going on, Africa is rising, economy is rising at around 8% every year. And there's been concern that much has not been done in terms of making sure that African states really benefits from this major economic growth rate. As you are well aware that Europe is not performing well, all major economies are performing well under 5%. So there's been greater emphasis to say that one of the major impediments for intra-Africa trade is that of lack of sufficient infrastructure and the continuing trade barriers amongst African states. African leaders have committed through the African Union to spearhead some of the major intra-African economic development corridors, like South Africa itself. President Jacob Zuma is leading the infrastructure development, which is from the South Corridor to the east of Africa. But there's been little achievement in terms of making sure that those projects get off the ground, and this has impeded a great deal in terms of Africa harnessing its potential for growth.
But Tshepo, how has South Africa's foreign policy fared across the continent?
I think there's been much of celebrations from our government point of view. Minister Nkoana-Mashabane took to the podium to address international relations students at Wits University to say that in the past 2 decades, past 20 years, South Africa has made great strides in terms of advancing not only its interests, but also African interests. As you are well aware that under the presidency of President Thabo Mbeki, we're able to chair to be part of the UN General Assembly Security Council. That was a major kind of achievement. We are part of the G20. South Africa is the only African state that is part of the G20 group of economies, including the BRICS, the fastest developing economic bloc. South Africa is the only African state that is part of the major group. So Minister Mashabane was pointing out to those kind of achievements in the past 20 years. But however, he has made a point to say that the future generation of leaders, which were the students that she addressed, have the responsibility to take up the baton and make sure that South Africa's voice is being heard. But nonetheless, there's been questions that also came from the students. One question that stood out for me was when one student questioned South Africa's presence in war-torn areas, to mention Central African Republic, to say that, according to the information at her disposal, South African troops were deployed there to secure or defend the business interests of the ruling party's elite. But the minister was quick to respond to say South Africa's responsibility is not only stationed in the Central African Republic, they also have a role to play in Burundi and other war-torn countries. So I think there's been a lot of mixed reactions to the speech at Wits University today.
Thank you so much. That was SABC reporter Tshepo Ikaneng.